There are three speaking zones, and the speaking zones are relative to the distance between you and whomever you are speaking to at the moment. The three zones are personal, intimate, and public. You could also call yelling a zone, but let's pass that for now because we're not going to yell at anybody. The personal zone is where most of our talking is done. The people we're talking to are like 3 to 5 feet away from us, maybe 6 feet away from us. We don't have to raise our voice. We just talk in a normal voice like I'm doing right now at about this volume. The intimate zone is when the person you're talking to is less than 3 feet away. You go a little softer, and in this zone, you ask for credit, you tell secrets, you say sweet things in your lover's ear. And then there's the public zone. The public zone is when the people are, 10 to 15, maybe more feet away from you, or maybe you're in a crowded room. Your volume goes up. You may not go any faster with your talking, but your volume goes up because you want everybody to be able to hear you. And the other reason disc jockeys tend to talk loud is because they're aware that the people that are listening to them are not in the room. They're far away somewhere. So if somebody's far away from you, you got to talk a little bit louder, right? And in the public zone, if you're not careful, you can get right on the edge of shouting at people, and nobody likes to be shouted at. Now, disc jockeys have a problem because when we're doing our shows, we've got those cans on our ears, the headphones on our ears, right? And in the headphones, we tend to turn it up. And when we turn it up, what happens when things are loud? You get louder when you were talking. Now, I will tell you, I have had disc jockeys that are loud and fast talking, and I loved listening to those guys, especially when I was a young guy. Dick Biondi in Chicago, WLS 1960s. I thought that was the greatest thing I'd ever heard. Dick was turned on with what he was doing, and he was one of the originals. And naturally, I tried to emulate him whenever I got into the business myself. But I soon learned it's kind of hard to pull off because you can sound like an idiot pretty easily. Most young announcers coming into the business now are at a disadvantage because you don't have radio like we used to have, where you had a program director that would sit down with you at least once a month, sometimes once a week, go over a tape of your show, listen to what you said, how you said it, and give you some feedback, give you a little critique. The same way a coach works with a player to tell you what the good things are that you're doing and what's the things that could be improved on. You don't have that anymore. It's difficult for a guy to critique his own self. If we are listening to our own selves and trying to critique it, we tend to think we are worse than we actually are. Or we tend to think we're better than we actually are because we're too wrapped up in it. We're too close to it, Only thing I can say to you is what I said in my radio drops the last time around. Talk in the personal zone, be quick, don't try to be anybody except yourself. And if you're a burner, if you're a screamer, if you're having fun, then you may be onto something there. Somebody's going to listen to you. But most people are going to listen to a disc jockey that's talking pretty much like I'm talking here, natural.